Hey everybody, we're about to get started. We're going to have some people trickle in over the next couple of minutes, so hang tight and we'll get started in just a few moments. Thanks. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to this Campaign Monitor customer webinar called Get More from Your Subscribers. We're going to be walking through the brand new engagement segments feature today. We released it a little bit more than a month ago. We're really excited about this new feature, so we wanted to take the opportunity to go a little bit more in depth with it with our customers. So we're glad you're here. Just a couple of webinar housekeeping items. Everyone is set to mute, but the questions panel on the side is active. So feel free to put any questions there. We've got some times set aside at the end to address those. So yeah, feel free to put them in. And I think that's it, and we'll go ahead and get everything started. So welcome. My name is Miles Price. I'm on the product marketing team here at Campaign Monitor, and I am joined by Kian Brazel, who is on our product management team. I'm located in Nashville. He's located in Sydney, Australia. So we are operating on two different time zones right now. It's about 4 in the afternoon for me, and first thing in the morning, about 9 a.m. for him. Kian, you want to say hi?
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Cool. So what we'll walk through today, we're going to go over some kind of high-level value of using segmentation in your email marketing to deliver more effective emails, some of the more common types of segmentation that a lot of marketers use, how to target your subscribers with the new engagement segments feature in Campaign Monitor. And Kian is actually going to do a demo of engagement segments, and then we've got time set aside at the end for Q&A. So if everybody's good to go, we can go ahead and get started. Let's talk through what is segmentation. At Campaign Monitor, we really hang our hat on the value of delivering relevant and targeted messages to your subscribers. We believe that as marketers, it's important to serve up the kinds of emails you actually want to receive as a subscriber. So in addition to having easy to use features like the drag and drop email builder, we also want to equip you with the tools you need to do better targeting and more effective messaging with that. So if you plan your email strategy with that in mind, you're going to make sure your subscribers maintain a connection with your brand. You'll maximize the lifetime value and over time combat audience churn. And the best way to do that is through segmentation. So what exactly is segmentation? It's the division of email subscribers into smaller groups based on a certain set of criteria. Now, the way that we look at that is it simply helps you deliver more relevant email marketing to your subscribers based on things like where they live, what interests you collected, like what are their buying habits, and pretty much anything that you can collect on them. So think about the fields that you have on your subscribe forms, the sign-up forms that you have on your website, the information that you collect on them is all relevant, and you can segment based on that. And segments are created so that you can cater specifically to each different group. What this kind of breaks down into is that you're getting away from that mass email to everybody in your list, but actually creating targeted, more relevant campaigns that go to these independent groups that you built. A good example for this is a fashion retailer might use segmentation to create groups within their subscriber list for demographic information, let's say men and women, and then several interest-based segments such as maybe people that are only shopping for footwear or shopping for accessories, dresses, swimwear, and that way they can create these hyper-relevant email campaigns based on that information. And really what this is doing is it's ensuring your customers are going to stay interested in your emails. All this information is, kind of bubbling up to this more relevant and engaging messaging that you're sending out. So eventually the response of your emails is going to be affected. And segmentation is the easiest way to do that. And we've seen that the numbers really don't lie. Segmentation leads to a huge increase in revenue, 760%, in fact. Almost 40% of email marketers that are practicing segmentation, they're seeing across the board higher open rates. They're seeing more sales leads come through. And over half of the people that are unsubscribing from your emails, they're doing it because they don't feel like the emails that you're sending to them are relevant. So you break that down into the fact that maybe that's a one-to-many strategy where, your companies are sending out emails that are not necessarily targeted to their whole list. And the smartest brands are segmenting. Just a look at some of our customers across the board that are using our segmentation tools. And even though the best ways to segment vary from brand to audience and industry, there's a couple of good kind of starting points. First off, I mentioned a little bit ago, gathering the right information about your subscribers. You can segment based on any subscriber details like their demographic data, email address, where they're located, even when they signed up. Here we've got a screenshot of the segment builder inside of Campaign Monitor. So if you have a certain location, you want to have maybe your customers in a certain zip code or a certain city, you can segment based on that. And you can also segment based on how they respond to your emails. So whether or not they clicked, whether or not they opened those emails, all of this stuff is game for segmentation. But what about engagement? How are they actually engaging with your emails over, how active are they? Have they kind of fallen off the radar? A lot of marketers really want to be able to identify who the most active subscribers are, like their VIPs, who are kind of falling off, maybe becoming disengaged with their brand, and who hasn't actually interacted with their emails ever. This is a good opportunity to see maybe here's a group of people that we need to build a re-engagement strategy around. According to Marketing Sherpa, almost a quarter of your list is going to become disengaged every year. This number is pretty high, and when you spend a lot of time with your list growth strategy, this can be kind of frustrating when you work so hard to build your list up, but it's a natural effect of the subscriber cycle. So we challenged ourselves at Campaign Monitor to build a tool to make it easy for marketers like you to identify the most valuable segments of your subscriber lists and create a solid strategy around re-engagement. And as a result, deliver more effective content that's going to reinvigorate interest in your brand and improve the overall email ROI of your program. So that's where engagement segments come in. engagement segments are 6 brand new pre-built segments that are based on those levels of engagement with your emails. It's going to give you a more scalable and reliable way to calculate that engagement. And more importantly, you're going to be able to send emails based on who is in each one of these segments. You can set up automatic triggers to send out, and so your content is going to be more relevant and obviously more timely. As you can see in the screenshot, we've got an active, engaged, unengaged, dormant, zombies, and ghost segments. These come pre-set up for customers on the Premier plan. So when you go into each list, you'll see the segment section. This is all set up right there, right on the screen. And let's see, we go a little bit deeper into the definitions of each segment here. The active, these are people that are, like I said, VIP level. They always open, they always click, recently in the last 30 days. Then you have a level below, people that maybe have engaged in the past month to 3 months, and then various levels of more engagement below that. So the zombies, the ghosts, these are people that aren't very engaged with your brand, and it's a good idea to have that information front and center so that you can easily build a more a re-engagement strategy to kind of bring them back into the fold. And in addition to engagement segments, we have introduced re-engagement email templates, because the segments are great, but how do you kind of continue that story into your email strategy? We wanted to set everybody up with success. So you can reinvigorate your subscriber list with 3 brand new re-engagement templates. These are available now in the email builder. Everybody can use them. They're available for all Campaign Monitor customers. Really beautiful design, very clear call to actions. We're making it easy to start designing and writing those re-engagement emails right from scratch. So we've got a "We miss you" note. I think we've all gotten emails like that where maybe you haven't interacted with a brand and all of a sudden you get an email that says, "Hey, we miss you, come back, we'll give you 15% or a deal." And also just a digest of all the content that you put out. Maybe people don't necessarily open or click every single email, but this is a good chance for you to get your content front and center in their inbox once again. So re-engagement templates are available in the email builder. They're meant to work great alongside that set of re-engagement or engagement segments. So this is a good chance to kind of get the most out of your subscribers with these 2 together. It's really easy to identify those most engaged subscribers right here from the engagement segment screen, and also build a strategy around re-engagement. And ultimately, this list is going to show you how to manage and maintain a healthy list by identifying who those people are that are super active, but also the ones that may have fallen off. Another thing about unengaged and dormant subscribers, they can dilute the success of your email programs. With our challenge being building a tool that makes it easy to identify that stuff, the engagement segments let you really see who is most active, who is most engaged, and that way your re-engagement program is going to take those unengaged subscribers and let you section them off and build your own campaign around those. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Kian, and he's going to do a demo. He's going to give us an in-app demo of engagement segments.
Great. Great. Thanks, Miles, and hey, everyone. So as Miles mentioned, I'm a product manager here at Campaign Monitor, and I'm on the team that built engagement segments and released it recently. So I'm super excited to give you an overview of that. I'm just going to give you a quick run through on some of the use cases that Miles discussed and how you can use them in Campaign Monitor. So I'm going to jump over to the list and segments area in Campaign Monitor. And for engagement segments, they will automatically show for every list you have in your account. So you'll see here at the top of this list, we can see the percentage of the subscribers in the list who are in each one of these engagement segments. So for this list, you can see that 57% of the subscribers on the list are categorized as engaged. So they've interacted with us in the last 30 to 90 days. These segments work just like any other segments. So if any of you use segmentation in Campaign Monitor already, you'll be familiar with some of the use cases around that. So in your list of segments, you'll see here we have some that we have pre-built, similar to how Miles discussed. So we have our subscribers who are in Nashville or our subscribers who are in Sydney. And for engagement segments, these pre-built ones will appear at the top of that list of segments. And can be used just like any other segments. So in campaign recipients or journeys or dynamic content, and I'll show some of that in a minute. You can also click into these segments and see the subscribers. You can export them, and just like other segments, you can also click through to the actual individual subscribers and see their activity since they've been a subscriber with you. So I'm going to jump into one or two simple use cases to kind of show how you could get started with engagement segments pretty easily. The first is if we go to just standard campaigns. So here's a draft I have from a campaign we're looking at recently. So if I'm on the area where I'm selecting my recipients for this campaign, you can see we have two lists in this account. I'm going to look at this newsletter list, and you can see that the engagement segments appear just like all the other segments that we can choose to include or exclude in this sending. So there's a couple of use cases that we see pretty commonly for engagement segments. One is that people might send campaigns that they're specifically targeting their most active or engaged subscribers. So here I could choose those two segments, and of the 70 people in this list, we're going to be targeting the 45 people we know are the most engaged and active subscribers. We've had early engagement segment customers who have seen like significantly higher open rates, 10 or 15%, and up from specifically targeting their active and engaged subscribers like this. And you can also tailor content that is maybe updates or offers that you don't want to give everyone, but want to reward the people who are your most sort of engaged and loyal subscribers. The other common use case here is, let's say we're sending a campaign to our San Francisco and Sydney subscribers. We can also decide that, even though we are sending to these people, we don't want to be sending the email to anyone who's unengaged or any of our zombie or ghost segments. So I can exclude the subscribers like this also. And that means that we want to send it to as many of our subscribers as we can in these areas, but we don't want it to be going to people that we know are unlikely to open the email. So this has benefits for your open rate and deliverability rates, and also it helps you avoid maybe sending campaigns to people that you know are unlikely to engage when it might be not the kind of thing that would maybe sit well with them given their level of engagement with your brand. The other area I'm just going to give you an overview of is using engagement segments to automate a re-engagement program. So if we jump over to automation here, I'm going to say create a new journey. And what I'm going to do is build a simple automated process for sending re-engagement emails for when people are kind of slipping away or you've seen they're not engaging with your brand too much anymore. So I'm going to go create a new journey here, and we'll call it engagement demo. So what we're going to do for this journey is we want to trigger this when any of our subscribers enter a segment. And for this, we're going to have it that if they enter the unengaged segment, we want to, I'm going to change this, we have more subscribers. If they enter the unengaged segment, we want to start a series of automated emails to try and help us re-engage those subscribers. So I'll go ahead and say build journey. So here you'll see our starting point now is subscriber enters the unengaged segment. So that as soon as a subscriber has been unengaged with the brand for long enough, they will hit this unengaged segment, and they will qualify for these rules. So the first thing we're going to do here is just add a simple email for this. I'll go in here and we'll call this something simple like step 1. We'll say we have maybe an offer for you based on the example Miles had earlier on. And then I'll go ahead and define some content real quick here. So you can see on the left, as Miles mentioned earlier, we've added a new section for re-engagement templates. And for this example that we're doing here, the 20% kind of offer approach, let's go ahead and put that in. So here we have a trigger where subscribers have been haven't engaged with our brand for a couple of months, and we have a pre-built email that we can use that says, if you'd like to come back, we'll give you 20% off, and show a bit of sort of, I guess, an offer from the brand and an incentive for the subscriber to come back. You can customize this, the content and the theme and everything to suit your brand, but for the purpose of this, I'm going to just jump ahead and add this in as is. So now you can see that as soon as someone enters that segment, they're going to get this email offering them 20% off. We're going to go one step further on this. Maybe not everyone is going to open that email straight away. So we want to put in a little delay before we decide whether it was successful or not. So let's give them 7 days to have a chance to like interact with this email, and then we're going to check is this working so far. So we can put a little condition in here, and for the condition, we're going to say that based on the journey activity that we're in. So we call that step 1 above. Have they opened it? So we could be more specific and say, did they actually click through and use the offer? But for the purpose of re-engagement, let's keep it a little simpler and just say, have they at least opened the email at this point? So I'll save that. And now we have it that if they don't, if they do or don't open this email that was automated to them within a week, we can do something about that. So, maybe as a simpler use case, we might not do anything on the yes line here, because these people are now going to be in your active segment, and you've managed to kind of re-engage them. But as a final step, let's go down this no branch, and what we'll be doing here is having another email for the people who haven't taken up the offer to re-engage, I guess, after that first attempt, and it's been a week. And we'll just put in one more email here, and we'll call it we miss you. Whoop, should be the subject. We'll just call this something simple like step 2. And let's define the content. And this is a good example for another one of the templates which Miles mentioned, which is the sort of more personal note. Because at this point, they've been unengaged with the brand for a little longer. You've had an initial reach out with maybe the offer, and so far you haven't managed to get them back. So this is an opportunity to sort of send a more personalized note. Some companies will even kind of update this bottom part here to maybe be more personal, like maybe John, depending on your company, maybe they're the CEO or the founder or some person in the company, but that will kind of depend, I guess, on your brand. And there's options here for the subscriber to say, yeah, I'm still interested, keep me subscribed, or to actually opt out and say, I don't want to continue getting these. So this is good for the subscriber in that, it's showing a level of care, I guess, from your brand, and it's leaving things with a good note, and also giving them the option to choose whether they want to keep hearing from you. And it's also good for your brand because it's another attempt to re-engage. But also, if these are definitely not going to be engaging with you, they can unsubscribe and help you keep a healthy list rather than a growing number of kind of disengaged people. So let's go ahead and add this one in. And there, you can see in about less than 5 minutes, I guess, we have a simple way of having an initial couple of steps of re-engagement that we can do with our subscribers. You can add as many of these as you want. We have some customers who have longer series of re-engagement attempts where they might start earlier, even at the engaged level, and keep going or go to 7 or 8 steps. But as a starting point, this is a pretty easy way to just get an initial automated series of re-engagement steps going, using the templates that are already there, and see how this one works for you.
And
so that's it.
This is awesome. It's also a good look at how the journey builder kind of takes some of the stress and just some of the manual work off of sending a bunch of emails. Just being able to sit there and look at a whole timeline of a re-engagement campaign you want to send, and maybe like in this one, it only lasts a couple of weeks, but over the course of maybe 6 months, you could just easily build this and have it automatically go out. So you don't really have to manage the sends. You build the content ahead of time, set up the automation, and it's just kind of done for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And, as you mentioned earlier, subscribers becoming unengaged is an extremely common problem. That's an ongoing thing that's going to be happening. So rather than having to continuously remind yourself or think about sending campaigns to try and re-engage people who are in a particular segment, and doing this as ongoing work, you can put in an initial bit of work on an automated process, and then not have to worry about that again until you want to tweak that or improve it. But it can kind of manage itself on an ongoing basis.
Yeah. Cool.
Great. And then that's kind of a quick overview summary. Engagement segments can also be used in dynamic content. I won't get into it too much now, but if people are interested, we have content on that. And as Miles mentioned earlier on, they are for Premier Plan customers at the moment. So just a quick note on, if you're on no plan, there's a button up here on the right where you can kind of compare how the plans would work for you. And if you're already on another plan, if you go to your icon at the top and then billing, and just choose view or change your plan, you can just see how Premier would sift the number of subscribers that you have. So that's a super quick overview. If you have any questions, we're going to jump into a bit of a Q&A now. So I'm going to flick the screen sharing back over to Miles.
Cool. Thanks, Kian.
All right.
Did my browser go away? There we go. All right. And actually, I'm gonna go back back to the screen. One of the best uses of engagement segments that we have is being able to call out your VIPs in the demo. Kian kind of showed you that you have you're active and you're engaged. You can target them. These VIP customers, this is a critical group of your most active subscribers. And a lot of brands, or a lot of our customers, are using engagement segments to thank them for being such valuable customers. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be an email that's driving sales. This could just be a thank you note for being a customer, or maybe it could be a shout out on social media, or a link to an exclusive rewards program. Or even like exclusive early bird content, things like that. Kind of look at it from, outside the box of, it doesn't always have to be a sale.
Yeah.
And when you're building that strategy around re-engagement, we're looking at, how easy it is to identify people by how often they click, but that really shows how loyal they are to your brand. So how are you effectively measuring that engagement? Engagement segments are making that data front and center.
Yeah, and Miles, it's a great point on the just rewarding active people. One thing we've really seen through the whole beta process for engagement segments and since launch is, a lot of customers who do this very well, they really focus not just on re-engagement, but on, I guess, preventing subscribers from slipping away in the first place as well. So like campaigns like that really target active people and get people as early as possible. To a certain extent, the best solution is to kind of preempt the problem wherever possible and just like really reward those people who are engaging.
Cool. All right, let's go to some questions. Got a list of questions that we pulled here from you guys. Let's see. This question is from Mark. How often do the segments update? Great question. The active segment updates in real time. So think of that like whenever a subscriber opens an email or clicks a link, they're going to appear in that active segment almost immediately. The other segments, since they're stretched out over a longer period of time, I think the platform updates it at 8 a.m. UTC every day. So think of that every day you'll have up-to-date segment information. Ian, you want to take the next one?
Yeah. Yeah, so we have one here from Amy. So why don't the percentages equal 100%? So yeah, that's a common question when people get started on that. Basically, what you'll see is as your subscribers are added to your list, you'll have subscribers who have just signed up very recently, and they just haven't had a chance to engage yet. So they might never have received a campaign from you yet. They could have only signed up, hours ago or a couple of days ago. So they're not unengaged. They don't sit in the segments where they haven't engaged with you because it's been a certain period of time. But they're not active because they haven't clicked or opened anything yet. So there'll be a certain percentage of engagement segments where the people just have yet to kind of get started. So those percentages won't always equal up to your total list.
Cool. Next question is from Robert. Robert says, "Hey guys, looks great." Thank you, Robert. Are engagement segments always based on opens? Any plans to have engagement segments based on clicks or other actions? Engagement segments are based on opens, but they're also based on the clicks. So kind of think of it like to get that information, the click data, they would most likely open the email. So there is engagement segments track the clicks as well as the opens of all the emails that are sent.
Yeah. Great. We have one here from Jennifer. Are you able to run reports on your engagement segments in order to see how your engagements may or may not improve over time? Yeah, that's a great question. So if you're sending to subscribers who are in an engagement segment, then you will see the segments appear in your campaign reports. If you've done that for other segments, you might be familiar with how those reports look. We currently don't show, we don't have reporting for, I guess, a trend over time in the engagement segment itself. But that's an interesting suggestion, if I'm understanding that correctly. But yeah, so in terms of campaign send reports and any reporting you have currently, you'll see segments, engagement segments will appear in those if you're sending to them, just like other segments will.
Okay. This is from Justin. If I upgrade, does tracking start at the moment of upgrade, or is historical data considered? Great question. Historical data is considered, but so we're going to look at all of your existing data to fill in the engagement segments when you upgrade. But depending on the size of your list, it might take a little bit of time just for all that data to fill in the first time. But we'll definitely look. It starts tracking immediately, but we'll also look at any historical data. It just might take a minute to show up in the account. Is there, Kian, do you know if there's anything that's not considered? Like, is there like a cutoff for the time that we would pull?
No, right now we, so if you think about the only limitation, I guess, the engagement segments are looking at kind of a 12-month or greater than 12-month window. So we will load all the data that you have for the periods of time that we need to calculate those segments. So so there's no worry. You've been a Campaign Monitor customer for years. We have customers who've been with Campaign Monitor for 5-6 years more who are already using engagement segments with all that data.
I think just like looking at engaged customers, the 12 months is probably a pretty good window to measure. Pretty good
yes.
Window to measure engagement.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and those it's a good point there just on the time ranges. We worked a lot with early beta customers and over quite a few months on the time ranges. So they won't always be the exact fit as to what your brand might consider active versus what your brand might consider unengaged, but they are what the majority of our customers is a fit for them. But that's not to say that some companies will you can use the engagement segments for whatever way that fits you. Just think about them as a time range.
All right. Let's see. Okay, from Caroline, she asked if I ever downgraded from the Premier plan, would engagement segment data be saved? Great question. So if you're on the Premier plan and let's say you've got a bunch of engagement segment data loaded into your account, when you downgrade, the engagement segments just stop updating. So that means subscribers won't continue to be added or removed from the segments after you've downgraded, and they don't show up in your list overview page. But good news is if you ever choose to upgrade again, we still keep all that data. We don't do anything with it. So all the engagement segments would then be recalculated and displayed again once you re-upgrade it back to the Premier plan. Awesome question.
We have one here from Paul who updated the Premier. He's just updated the Premier, but hasn't seen the engagement segments yet in his list. Do campaigns have to go out to create them? Great question, Paul. You don't have to send a campaign to them. They will appear automatically. As Miles mentioned earlier on, just with the update timing, the segments update every day at 8 a.m. UTC. So if you've just upgraded now, it's just after that time, we will there may just be a slight wait in the beginning before you see those segments fully calculated and appear in your account. So they will appear automatically just the very first time you upgrade. Depending on the timing, it could just take a little bit of time to fully calculate those segments. Also, I'm not sure how big your lists are, but if you have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, depending on the size of it, it could just take a little bit longer, to calculate them the very first time. After that, it'll be fine. Yeah.
All right. I think let's do one more question, and then we can go through the takeaways and wrap up the webinar. This question is from Ernesto. Is there a way to manually add a subscriber to one of the automatic segments? These segments are, great question. These segments are generated based on the engagement that subscriber has with your emails. So it's an automatic, it looks at the way that they opened or clicked an email. So you can't manually set somebody to active or engaged or dormant or zombie. What you could do is add them to a separate group, or you could add them into their own segment if they had their own set of criteria that you were trying to sort through. So yeah, great question, Ernesto. Thank you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming. We'll just go over some quick takeaways. We covered segmentation, what is segmentation, why it's important. It helps you deliver more targeted and effective emails in your campaigns, but more importantly, it helps you drive revenue. It increases your email metrics, and it's ultimately keeping your subscribers more engaged with your brands, which was the challenge that we worked with to build the engagement segments, to give you guys a tool that helps you target your subscribers easier, to identify, you know, the most active people, but also the ones that may have fallen off. So we hope this has been super helpful. We recorded the webinar. Keep an eye on your inbox. We'll be sending the recording around to you in the next couple of days. And just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on the demo today and the webinar. If you think that engagement segments would be helpful for your email marketing efforts, and maybe you're on the basic or unlimited plan, or maybe pay as you go, we think they'd be super helpful. You could upgrade your account to the Premier plan. Kian showed off how to easily upgrade with the purple upgrade button in your account, or just going to the billing section. So yeah, upgrading is super easy. And we also have an incredible team of people here at Campaign Monitor who are a team of email marketing experts that know not only Campaign Monitor, but the whole landscape around email marketing. And they're experts in personalized email strategy. They look at your brand, they look at the emails that you've got sending out, and they can give you a really, really valuable one-on-one deep dive into how to make those small tweaks that really drive some strong results. So if that interests you, please head over to campaignmonitor.com/services, and one of our professional services team members will reach out. Highly recommend it. So thank you guys so much. This has been a lot of fun. This was our first Campaign Monitor customer webinar, and it's been a while, but we want to do more. So if you have thoughts, if you have certain topics that you want covered, if there are features that you would like to see more of, please let us know in the questions, or in the reply to the follow-up email with the recording. And that's how we get our ideas for webinars to help you guys out. So Kian, thank you so much for being here and walking us through that awesome demo.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It's been great.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later.